Welcome back to Polkzoo channel here. And yeah, the guitar ladder system's going up next year, so if you'd like to get thousands of dollars of innovative organic guitar instruction that really works to teach your subconscious mind and get you where you want to go a lot quicker and a lot deeper, I suggest you order now. If the $200 is kind of tough, we can do $100 now, but for $199 this is a great situation. But hey, I want to talk about something here. Bang this video out. No, I'm completely cold. The reason I say that is so you understand that how important it is to practice correctly. So what I'm going to talk about today is how to develop jaw-breaking speed. I'm not going to demonstrate that because I have to be warmed up for an hour to do that, but you'll find once you begin to develop jaw-breaking speed, it will just pop out. You almost don't know when it's going to happen. It's interesting, but a big part of it is repetition. Also, a big part of it is obviously practicing. I call them guitar rudiments because, you know, I used to be a drummer, and I know Al Di Meola used to be a drummer, and whether you like his music or not, you got to admit the guy's a monster. But the repetition is the mother of mastery and perfection. But so what I've done is I've kind of trying to give you a feel for the way to practice. Now it's gonna, you know, if your attitude. If you really are serious about developing jaw-breaking single notes, you need to work on it maybe a couple hours a day, maybe even 2-3 hours a day. A couple hours a day would probably do it. Even if you just spend an hour a day focused on the right things, you'll get some results because you're always building technique. Let me repeat that. You are always building technique if you practice correctly. So you might, just let me give you a really simple example. If you go like this and do double triplets. Now I'm muting, because muting causes a little more pressure, a little harder on the right hand, so it's good for developing technique. But if you practice like this and you place the accent, bam, now here I add the other note in so I can do the double triplets. Okay, if you do this, that's simple, you're building technique, okay? If you slop through it, you're not building technique. So what I like to do is work on different chord, you know, or I should say different colors when I'm doing single note technique. Like maybe I'll do diminished, like the half step, whole step scale, in double triplets. Double triplets are great. I try to do at least an hour, more like 2 hours a day, every day, of just single note studies. Now in my guitar ladder system, I've got some incredible studies. Like this waterfall lick. Which is not easy to do, especially cold. But the point I'm trying to make here is the repetition. You need to repeat things a lot, like even just simple ideas like this. So maybe I'm doing, and then I double up. Because every time you do that, you hear the accent, bam, bam. Placing accents is huge because it gives your brain, what you're really doing, and I've had this conversation with some great guitar players like Ardeshir Farah, Strunz and Farah, those guys are monsters and they're beautiful players. You're learning how to play like you can think, and you're learning to integrate this with your nervous system, so it's that repetition. If you sit here, bam, hear the accent, bam, accent. Now that might seem really simple, but if you do that clean, you're building technique and you're getting what I call phrase memory integrated into your nervous system. Because a lot of times I'll be playing and I'll be pretty warmed up and all of a sudden I'll do something that absolutely seems impossible to me, and it really makes me happy because it makes me realize all my hard work is paying off. But like I said, you have to kind of earn it. And you don't earn it by slopping through stuff. You have to really, like I said, like just simple ideas, like say, like here, like. I think Al Di Meola has talked about this, taking small little sections as opposed to always doing some long pattern, just a short pattern. Hear the accent? Bam, bam, bam. Okay. Now you can also get, like I said, different colors. Diminish. You can do all double triplets. Hear the accent. Now you can also practice with your fingers kind of tucked in like this, because it's a little harder, right? Maybe do it both ways. Right. Okay, so I've got my fingers kind of tucked in, right? know, I didn't put the accents there. This LH300, by the way, sounds incredible. It really sounds like an old Epiphone master belt from the 40s. Folks, when I say a guitar is special, I'm not making it up, man. I've been doing this for like, 35 years. This thing has such great natural reverb. I can't believe nobody's bought it. That's fine with me. I love playing it. It's even got a little bit of flame on the back. This sounds, you can hear this, man. And this is with a small little, very small mic. Anyway, so getting back to the technique, and then like I said, you can do arpeggio ideas. You can do down, up, down, down. You switch strings. But what I'm talking about is you need to make up your own little guitar rudiments, and then you need to practice the hell out of them. I mean, I hear some pretty good players out there, but some of them have a lot of technique and some of them have very little. I really think that technique is a tool that you need to have available, so when you need it, you can use it. It adds excitement to your playing. It adds depth. It adds, it's kind of hard to explain what it adds, but it just, if you have technique and you can use it to be subtle, you can use it to be powerful, but it offers, I guess the word I'm looking for, it offers a range of emotion, a range of mood that you create. So it's really important. So like I said, I do 2 hours of single notes every day. Sometimes I'll just take like a pentatonic scale form. Do something like that. Sometimes I'll add a note here, add that. But I'll do that sequence. You need to do that like 40, 50, 60 times, okay? With the accent. I cannot stress how important the accent is. If you start placing those accents, hear this? Hear that? No, I'm muting. Muting is a great way to develop technique because you have to work a little harder in your right hand. So hear that mute? Hear the accent. Accent. Now you don't always have to mute. In fact, it sounds really cool to like, here I mute, then unmute, unmute, right? So practice muting and then unmuting, But the main thing is you've got to get into some serious repetition and kind of make up your own, they're like drum rudiments. In drumming, there's like, it used to be 23, 24 rudiments, things like paradiddles, single paradiddles, things like that. And I even do some of that on guitar, like. I'm doing strict alternate. Okay. But it's the repetition, and you just need to have a good attitude about it. It might seem boring, but let me tell you something. If you do a little recording session, or you're just warmed up one day and you're playing, all of a sudden you're going to peel off a lick that you're like, what? You won't even know how you did it. It's just really, and it's like I said, speed is not the end all by any means, and some people are dominated by that. But if you can have the combination of being subtle and creating some beautiful, single note phrases, and then once in a while using that speed and technique to develop, more emotion and more mood and more color and more range, it's a beautiful thing. It helps you develop tension and resolution in your single notes. But like I said, you don't know when you're building technique because it's hard to tell. Sometimes it takes a while for it to kind of catch up to you. But if you're sitting there like this, hear the accent? Bam, bam. Something this simple. If you do it clean like that and you place the accents, you are putting money in the bank. You are building technique. And so a lot of people they think they have to play fast to be able to play fast. It does nothing. If you're not playing clean and you're not, here's the thing, I don't know why more people aren't talking about this, but if you don't place accents, you're also not giving yourself the opportunity to build this jaw-breaking or jaw-dropping technique, okay? You need to really place those accents. Now, another thing I like to do sometimes is just go from color to color. Like maybe 1 minute I'm doing diminish, come up a minor third, then maybe I'll go to arpeggio. Maybe I'll go to a gypsy scale. See how I'm getting the double triplets in there? Maybe I don't start off with them, then I go to them. Here, see. So you can stay in one place, you can create little sequences within your different scale colors too. Like here I'm doing harmonic minor, maybe and do some all downs too, because you get a lot of power and it kind of wakes up your right hand. So maybe you're doing, then take a small section of a scale and do a little sequence like. Like create interesting little sequences. Try to keep changing them up too. Like see here I'm going. Do you see the idea? You need to really like think about different ways. Okay, let's put it this way. There's a couple different approaches. One is you just do ridiculously simple patterns like this that you don't have to think about, right? So let's break it into two approaches. One, simple patterns you really don't have to think about much once you get them right. Accent, bam, bam, bam. And then patterns that take a little more thought. And that way, you know, you've got a couple really great approaches. But the most important thing is that self-discipline to play clean and not worry about playing fast, because every time you play it clean with the accent, the accent's 95% of it, folks, because it gives your technique a reference point, technically speaking, and it starts to integrate this into your nervous system. I put a hell of a lot of thought into this, folks. It works. Because you want the guitar, and when you see great guitar players, their guitar playing is an extension of their nervous system, and you can hear when it's kind of flying out of the subconscious mind. It's a beautiful thing, man. But anyway, so and like if I do a lick like this, right? You can always end with a chord, but don't worry about that. But the main thing is have some like just very boring patterns you don't have to think about, like. But get the accent, bam, bam, bam. And then also do some things where maybe you have to put a little more thought. Like, and combine those. Make up your own little patterns. They can be simple. They can be things like. Then add the accent, bam, bam. Hear that? Take the old pentatonic, form 1, minor pentatonic. Hear the accent. And what's really interesting, you can hear when a player's put in their time, because when they peel off a certain type of a lick, it just has a whole nother dimension. It's just flying out of their nervous system, and you can hear it. It's a beautiful. So what I'm trying to say is you have to have that attitude when you're practicing, that it might seem a little bit boring, but know that every minute you're building technique, and like I said, if you can do it only an hour a day, then do an hour a day of nothing but single notes. If you can do 2 hours a day, that's even better. I'm 62 now. When I was young, I used to do 3, 4, 5 hours a day of just single notes. You don't have to do that, but I mean, like I said, if you can do an hour a day, great. 2 hours, even better. If you really want to do go 3, but you don't have to do that. And like if you're in the guitar ladder system, you don't have to put in, hours a day on single notes. But if you have the time, an hour a day, 2 hours a day would be wonderful. But anyway, I better get off. This is a long video, and I'm going to do a lot more on this subject. But it's really an exciting thing, especially when you get into the studio and you're recording something, or you're just playing at home and you're really warmed up, and all of a sudden you peel off some idea, and you kind of like impress yourself. It's cool. And again, I know technique isn't the end all, but I really feel you need to have some jaw-dropping technique, or at least technique that you can work with. It doesn't have to be jaw-dropping. It doesn't have to be on the same level as a virtuoso, but at least it needs to be at a level that for you gives you some tools to work with. It's very, very important, okay? So try that. I'll be doing more on this. Of course, things like the old diminutive. You can combine pull-offs. But anyway, I better stop. Enjoy that. This guitar is available. It sounds unfreaking believable. I can't believe I haven't sold it yet. I really don't care because I love playing it. But folks, if I say a guitar is special, it is. And you know, I do appreciate all your comments. But if people send me a really, really negative comment, I just delete them from my channel. I don't have time or patience for negative energy. It doesn't mean you have to kiss my you know what. But most people that send me comments are really cool. I really appreciate and really enjoy talking with you. But every once in a while I get a comment that's just really out in left field. And usually often it's from somebody who doesn't really have much going on and whatever. But you know, I just delete those people from my channel. But I really appreciate everybody's support. Thank you so much to everybody who's bought the guitar ladder system. It really works, folks. The price is going up next year, so if you're interested, send me an email to polkzoo@gmail.com. I'll send you a couple samples. I need your phone number, though, because I want to touch bases with you on the phone, not to sell you, but to make sure you understand the opportunity, make sure you understand the depth of this program. Then if you want to order, you can. If not, that's fine, too. I don't pressure people, but I do get kind of passionate on the phone because I've really got something special here. So I think you can see that flame on the back of this guitar. It's got some really, but it really does. It has a sound kind of like an Epiphone from the 30s or 40s made in New York. Somebody recently sent me a comment that was you know, wasn't very positive. They're going, oh, violin voice, oh man, you're taking this. Yeah, the Lord stuff is violin voice. They brought in master violin carvers and they violin voice the top. That's why they sound so great. So I don't know, man. Some people, I don't know where people's heads are at sometimes, you know. But yeah, the Lord stuff is violin voiced. The old Gibson L5s, the old Gibson L7s, and L50s are not, Super 400 are not violin voiced. That's why you talk to great players like Joe Pass. I know he's no longer around, or George Van Epps, and that's a lot of great people will always say, you know, the older Epiphone arch tops were some of the best arch tops in the world because they were violin voiced, because they were made by European luthiers that were in New York and Chicago at the time that came over from Europe. So yeah, the Music Link has master carvers who helped teach the other carvers, and they do violin voice the tops. That's why these guitars have that great natural reverb and the great pianistic overtones. Like I said, I'm using a mic here that's the size of the, you know, the end of a pencil. I mean, it's a little bit bigger, but it's so small. Okay, well, I better stop. Take care, everybody. Be safe out there, and let's all keep the positive.